normative databases are a reference point, but ultimately, normal isn't always the interesting endpoint. I ran a meeting in 1998 in Austin, Texas for ISNR. Well, then I think it was SNR, SSNR, one of the earlier versions of the title. And there was a panel I set up because I was running the meeting, and Leslie Pritchett representing NX-Link database, Barry Sturman with the skill database, and Bob Thatcher with his database. And there were questions in the audience, and I was running around with a microphone like Phil Donahue, taking questions, and I wanted to get all the questions on the tape that was being recorded so that people could actually look at this after the fact, or buy the tape so they could understand it. And it came a point with 5 minutes left in the panel's time that there were no more questions, and I had the microphone. This is a dangerous moment. So I looked at the panel, and I thanked them for describing their databases and everything, and then I turned around, looked at the audience. I said, I see here on the aisle, 3 rows in, Roy John. And I'm thinking to myself, Roy's not normal. Roy's extraordinary. Why would I want a normative database if I could have a Roy John extraordinary database for us to compare to? It's a template that's not normal, but boy, it's awfully damn good. And I asked that question to the panel. Why would you use a normative database if you could have a Roy John extraordinary database? And they were all slack-jawed. There was no answer from the panel. Their orientation was towards normal. Look it up somewhere. What the hell is normal? Exactly. The absence of pathology. Who the hell do you know that doesn't have some pathology? So, I do think that our orientation towards normal is important for people that have severe pathology. But there's a whole bunch of people that don't have severe pathology where normal wouldn't necessarily be their goal. They're looking for a Roy John extraordinary goal. Elite athletes don't have normal EEGs. Why would you train them to the norm? You need to set a different target for some applications. Again, if you've got a broken leg, you want to be normal, but if you're an Olympic runner, you don't want to be normal. You want to be the extraordinary Olympic runner. So I think we need to open up what we're gathering from simply being a bunch of normal people. And some of us would eschew being normal rather strongly. I run away from being normal if I can. So I think gathering clinical databases is at least as important as gathering normal databases. So rather than worrying about whether the person qualifies or not, gather all of the information you can about the person and their data, and let the accumulation of all of that end up sorting out normal versus extraordinary, or some unique niche that we don't even recognize at this point. So again, if you have enough personal information and the EEG, the collection of that at some point would become valuable. Now, it's going to have to be a giant collection to actually provide the value, but that's where an international organization comes in handy. I mean, if you're in a single practice, you can't gather enough information. If you're 10 single practices, you can't gather enough information. But when you've got thousands of members and you reach across multiple continents, you can start to be a funnel to gather that information together. And again, normal's a fabulous thing to know about, but the questions aren't how normal is my patient. I mean, you're wondering, how does my patient match? Is this dementia or depression? Not is this normal? So it's time to get some other templates other than just normative templates.
No, for me, it's also what, once you have all of this, what are the categories that you use?
Yeah.
Right. So dementia is an easy category. Depression may be toward easier, but you get into PTSD. These brains don't look alike.
Yep.
And are they subtypes of each other? And
Yep.
we get very caught and deeply caught and impossibly tangled in these diagnostic precursors of the information that we now have. Like, the 157 diagnoses. Are we supposed to put our EEGs in those bins? We're never going to do that, right? I mean, it's hard enough to even make the cut in terms of normal and abnormal, because it's not a category. Jay just said, right? It's not a category. There's no such thing as a normal brain.